especially with women, we've been societally conditioned not to say what we mean. We have to be coy about it. We have to hint around it.
You've been through divorce, remarriage, you've been in different relationships, you've been single for a period of time, all these different things. Yeah. What would you say after all this life experience are the key boundaries we need to create in relationships before entering a relationship?
Oh, yeah. So like there's almost a pre-step that you have to take that I spent almost 4 years doing before I got into my new marriage, which was spending time by myself, figuring out after my divorce who I was again, because I feel like when you spend so much time in a relationship trying to make it work, you give away so many pieces of yourself that by the end of it, I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't recognize myself.
Really?
Yeah, my self-confidence, my sense of self. I had, I think, chipped away so much at myself in an effort to make it work that it took me a while, I think, to get back to like, okay, what do I need? What do I like doing? What are the things that I haven't been doing that I want to get back to? What are the things that I value? So I spent a lot of time by myself. And when I was thinking about my new relationship, I came up with a list of non-negotiables. There were a few things that I was like, I will not be in a relationship without them.
What are those?
The first was that my family, my immediate family, has to like you. Hard stuff. I know that that sounds almost like intuitive, but I made a lot of excuses for past partners with the people that mattered to me the most, my sister being the most important one, where she was like seeing red flags before I was. And I was kind of trying to bridge that gap. And I was like, I will not do that anymore. If I show up and this, this person is not integrating well with my family, that is an immediate sign.
Because then there's going to be discord for the rest of your life. The rest of the time you're with that person, right?
Yes.
Your family's going to be like, I don't really want to spend time with this person.
Yeah.
Your partner's going to be feeling like your family doesn't like me. I don't want to hang out with them. It's going to be this kind of discord, right?
And I know that my family is amazing. They're healthy. They don't have, troubling or manipulative tactics. Like my family is a very healthy family unit where we can talk about problems now. And so if my partner's not getting along with them, that's a big sign.
Okay.
I also said that I would never again make myself small for the sake of my relationship. I would never again downplay the things I knew I was good at, the ambitions that I had, the things I wanted to pat myself on the back for. I absolutely wanted a partner who was going to be supportive of all of that and encourage all of that in me. So that was another non-negotiable.
Okay.
So as I'm thinking about all of these things that I want for my new relationship, I had to take a step back and say, okay, how am I going to show up in this relationship and not bring my own baggage into it? How am I going to make sure that the past is processed and I'm not carrying it forward and I'm not blaming my next partner for things that my old partner did? So I went back to therapy and spent a lot of time in therapy. But one of the things I committed to in my new relationship that I guess is a boundary for me is that I committed to always saying what I meant and meaning what I said. And I feel like that's not often the case in relationships. There's a lot of back and forth between, especially with women, we've been societally conditioned not to say what we mean. We have to be coy about it. We have to hint around it. You, as my partner, have to guess how I'm feeling and interpret how I'm feeling and then do the right thing. And then if you don't, I get mad at you for not doing the thing that you didn't know you needed to be doing.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting, and it leads to a lot of miscommunication. So I decided to show up in this new relationship, and I said to my husband, like, I will say what I mean, and you know that you can trust that. So when you say to me, are you mad at me? I'm going to take a moment to think about it. And if I say no, you can trust that. You can trust that it has nothing to do with you and it's not about you, because if we had a problem, you would know it.
And you don't need to walk on eggshells trying to say, when's she going to tell me what's really going on?
Yes. And if you say, hey, is it cool if I go to jujitsu tonight? And I'm like, okay, I'm home, I'm alone with the kid. These are the things that I have going on. And I think about it and I say, yep, it's cool. You know I mean it. And you're not going to come home at 9 o'clock to like a storm.
Right, a resentment.
Where I'm like, why did you go? And how could you leave me with this many, these many things? And then I also kind of said to him, I'm expecting the same of you. So I will not engage with passive aggressive behavior. If you walk around the house and you're stomping around and you're throwing things down, as far as I know, we don't have a problem because you haven't told me that we have a problem.
Yeah, you've got something else going on in your life.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that it's not about me, because if it was about me, you would have told me, or you would say, I'm upset with you, but I'm not ready to talk about it. Let's come back in a little while. So it took us a while to learn to sort of trust that communication pattern with each other, but it's been enormously helpful. And I would say it's the foundation. It's like what I call it, our relationship golden rule. It's the foundation for any boundaries that we set with each other, which is I'm going to take responsibility for my own needs and my own feelings. I'm going to speak clearly and directly, kindly, but clearly and directly about what I need from you. And you can trust that I am going to say what I mean. And it's been really huge for us.
Huge.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest, anytime we take on something new, and we let go of the old pattern and we step into a new pattern, new behaviors, new stuff starts to come up, or there might be moments of frustration or some PTSD feelings or, is it really gonna work out? What has been the biggest breakdown that you've had to overcome in the last year and a half, 2 years, while taking on this new behavioral pattern?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a breakdown because we worked around it because we're married and we live together now. But when he was talking about moving in with my son and I, so my son and I, my husband and I bought a house like together. We picked it out together. It was big enough for all of us. My son and I moved in on our own and we wanted us to get settled in before we introduced Brandon into the household. That was cool with everybody. My son finally was like, when's Brandon going to move in with us? And I was like, awesome, we're in it. When he started to move in, I had
Sort of freak out.
a huge freak out because in the past, he would come to stay over and he'd stay for a night or two and I'd be like, okay, I need an alone night. And he would go back to his place and I'd go back to my place. And now like there's nowhere else for him to go.
No alone night.
No, there's no alone night. And so I found that he would be hanging out, doing normal things around the house, existing as a human being. And I would be like, oh my God, I can't stand. I like need you to be out of this space. Wow. I need you to do, like it was intense. I felt really claustrophobic.
This is like the first week, first month, first few months?
First week. It was bad. Man. It got bad. It got bad to the point where he like went home. He went to his old apartment and like slept on the floor for a night or two so I could figure it out. So I called my therapist right away and I was like, okay, I want this to work. I'm clearly still struggling with like energetic capacity and some old baggage and I need to relearn how to share my space and I need to relearn how to communicate when I need alone time, but like I need to figure out how to have alone time together.
Right.
And then we worked it out.
You started figuring it out.
Yeah.
Were you guys married at that time yet or not yet?
We weren't married yet. I actually said to him at one point, do you think that we could get married but not live together? That was like a real thing that I was wondering if we could do. And he goes, that would not work for me.
Wow.
Like, first of all, kudos to him for like being that clear. He wasn't mad about it or he didn't stomp off. He just said, no, that would not work for me. And I was like, okay, well, I want to be married to this man. So we have to find a way to make it work. Why do you want to be
married, but at the time you were like, I want to live alone still?
I just didn't know how I was going to be able to incorporate him into our life. I had been living alone for 5 years, with my kid, and we had our own routine, and I felt it was just hard for me to share my space. I'm so introverted, and I really had to find ways to get that like alone time and recharge time with him in the house. And we've definitely worked it out now, but there was a lot of communicating that had to go on in the beginning where I was like, it's not you. I love you. I'm so happy that you're here. And also, I need an hour by myself so I can just like recharge my batteries. I need alone time like most people need to breathe. And here's what it's going to look like. And it's never about you. And if I have to tell you before I leave the room every single day, hey, it's not about you, but I need alone time, I'm happy to do that, So it took a lot of communicating. And then he had to learn not to take it personally. Right. But like we both did that work.
Wow.
And now it's good.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.